Taesun is running toward Prince for a fight. He grabs him tightly. Prince seems calm and says that this is the strength of what he considers. Prince grabs him from his shoulder tightly. He raises him on his shoulder and throws him forcefully. He says to watch this storm throw. Taesun falls to the ground badly. Prince says to Taesun to get up and shows his strength to him. His voice trembles with fear and says that he is going to take Joseon. Taesun soldiers request Khan to fold the prince in half. Prince grabs Taesun tightly from his neck. He seems scared. He forcefully pushes him and he falls to the ground. Prince orders him to get up. He says that all his strength is collapsing. He feels ashamed. He gets up and is ready to fight with Prince again. He seems in fury and runs toward Prince to attack him. He punches him with his fist, but he stops him with his hand. Price seems raged and says that he is breaking the rules with his fists by a cowardly move. Taesun seems terrified. He grabs the prince's ears forcefully. Prince seems infuriated and says that he deserves to die. He swings him in the air and then he falls on the ground. His soldiers feel ashamed by seeing him like this. Taesun seems embarrassed and says to the prince that his physique is robust. He tears and thinks that he is ready to face more challenges. Price seems confident by showing his body. Taesun seems astonished by seeing this. At the end, Taesun gives up and loses. All the soldiers of the prince seemed happy after seeing this. Prince seems happy and says that his body wins. He thanks his father for meticulously caring for him. He proves his filial piety once again. He celebrates by making the black dragon pose. His body looks big in this pose. After seeing him in black dragon pose, the Taesun soldiers seem frightened and say that he is looking like a black dragon itself from front and back too. His soldiers raise slogans of his name, Grand Prince sighing. Commander-in-Chief with the Kungsan together have conquered the enemy remnants. Commander says that with this the Jurchens and Northern Yuan will completely split. He requests the prince to prepare himself to sign the treaty. Taesun becomes the prisoner of Prince. He binds with the help of ropes. He thinks that he should not kill him recklessly. Taesun says that doesn't make any sense. Prince says that if he wants to live, admit it. Prince says that who desires to die. Taesun says that he will be spared. He does not taste the disgrace from Joseon to be imprisoned on a nameless island for the rest of his life. Price says that they will let him go. As long as he accepts the agreement, they will really let him go. Come in and recite the Jisa agreement. Suddenly his soldier comes and reads the agreement, first acknowledging the Joseon victory and then paying a ransom of horses per captive. Secondly, if the trade with Joseon is established in future, they will actively embrace it. Third, send a letter about any attempts to invade Joseon by force. Fourth, at the next two Yek Quariltai treat Joseon representatives on par with Goryeo's King Sim. The representative doesn't need to be of royal blood, but can be a civil servant of the first junior rank or higher. Taesun seems astonished by hearing this. Taesun says that they are mad. Prince says are the terms not to his liking. He replies first and second are fine. They have lost the battle after all, but what is the reason for being treated on par with Kim Sim at the Yeki Quotilla? King Sim was a Goryeo man with a proper title. They once called Joseon the successor of Goryeo and their brother nation. Let's say they treat the Joseon representative like a Kamuk chieftain. But when the next Khan election, do they think him to approve of that while he is still breathing? Prince says that they have no idea what is happening in Beijing right now. Essen is reported to be killing the Ming commander. If not, he can never have his eye on its place. Not just this, he also defeated the Ming's 200,000 great army and took the emperor hostage, and is breaking through the passes attacking Beijing. Taesun seems infuriated and thinks that if the battle starts just 3 days later, then all the Jurchens will be his side. Prince says that the Essen failure is also inevitable. He gives Ming too much time. They have likely been reinforced with hundreds of thousands from the Nanjing region. After hearing this, Taesun asks that then what is the purpose of these terms? Prince replies that maybe he slams and throws him so much that his brain is stop working. Prince says that the Essen will be wishing his death right now. He seems frightened and says that he can send troops to assist him in dealing with the Warat at any time. Prince says that let's add it. Taesun asks that so when he is releasing him. He replies after 15 days. Taesun says that they need to find a way to counter Essen right now. Prince says that it is up to them. They are sparing his life and backing his country, then what is he bitching about? After hearing this, Taesun seems infuriated. Prince thinks that September 14th is the day when the news of Taesun's death will reach Essen. But if Taesun assumed dead returns on the 30th of September, then Essen thinks he will negotiate with Joseon. Regardless of his Golden Horde bloodline, Essen will not let that slide. Things seem calm, but afterward a thrilling Mongolian civil war will begin. It is September 17, 1449. Everything is covered with fire. The soldier says to Tashi that everyone is exhausted. Tashi seems infuriated and says that the breaking through the Jiang Pass and Zijing Pass takes them 15 days. They have killed 250,000 Ming soldiers in the Beijing area alone. Including the army of the emperor, it is 550,000 in total. Their military soldiers are continually being replenished. Tashi is looking toward his rival. He says that he will never breach the Forbidden City. After hearing this, Tashi becomes infuriated and kills him. Suddenly, a soldier comes to Tashi and reports to him that about 100,000 troops have arrived from the south. He seems infuriated and says that they are more than the arrows. His soldier says that what they hear at Xinjiang Pass seems to be true. His rival soldiers say that they have 8 million subjects against them at best, a scant 100,000. 1 in 5 men is a soldier. So are they ready to face an 8 million strong army? He seems astonished and thinks that they are replenishing faster than they can kill them. How are they supposed to win this war? Suddenly, the soldier of Tashi comes and says that they have received a message from the Khoi tribe. They will withdraw because of heavy losses. After hearing this, Tashi seems enraged and murmurs that they are getting more skilled at handling cannons. They are at a level which they cannot ignore. Even using the damn emperor as our last resort is proving useless. Tashi says furiously to the emperor that he is all right when their emperor is being beheaded. The Jingtai emperor says that he is speaking nonsense in the presence of the emperor. Tashi thinks that they have already enthroned a new emperor. The problem is solved by a major replacement. His soldier says that he should find justification to retreat since his fame is already fully established. Tashi says that the justification is the issue. A hasty retreat might lead to a counterattack. His soldier says that there are troubling rumors going around. He asks about the rumors. His soldier replies that the victory of the Joseon army in the Liaodong region has finally killed the Khan. With this momentum, they are going to march on Karakoram. After hearing this, Tashi seems terrified. He says that avenging the Khan and defending the Karakoram comes first. He seems angry and thinks that they should declare revenge for the Khan, and then all the tribes will unite. Even the Ming cannot withstand an invasion by an army of 300,000. Suddenly, the soldier comes to the chief and delivers the urgent news. He says that the Joseon army missed Taesun Khan, but they wiped out all enemies in the Liaodong region. After hearing this, Minister of Ming seems calm and says that it is relief for them. He says they have no chance of facing an attack from both sides in this situation. Soldier says that the soldiers have taken quite a toll, but they can still support the 20,000 regular ones left in Liaodong. Minister Yu Kaian asks if the commander of Joseon of the first junior rank official is Kim Jong-seo. He replies that he is right. Yu Kaian orders his soldier to tell them not to come. He says that the Grand Prince sighing first junior rank is lower than their third. Suddenly, another soldier comes and says to the general that the enemy is preparing to retreat. Joseon has truly achieved something great. It is November 4th, 1449 Hanyang. Soldiers are coming back from the war. People are happy and celebrating their victory. Prince is coming back from the war. One man says that the cavalry horses are different. Someone says that these horses are the fine ones which the enemy rides. Another man says that it is reporting that they capture it over 10,000 of them. Royal says that they have prayed day and night for their safety. He sincerely commends them for the great effort that they put into defending Ming's territory and clearing out the enemies. The soldiers are saluting the royal king. King says that with intense training and real combat experience, who will dare to look down on Joseon? He says that they all work so hard, so it is the time for commensurate rewards. He announces that he appoints Frontier Affairs Minister and grants him the noble title of Duke Chungwi. After hearing this, King Jongseo seems happy and says to the king that his royal grace knows no bounds. King announces that he appoints the Central Flank Commander Kim Hyo-seong as the first junior rank Right Minister, while the Right Flank Commander Yi-jing-ok will keep his current position as his merits and faults are balanced. Prince murmurs that Yi-jing-ok takes the blame for the runaway of Taesun Khan. He is a truly royal man, but there is no way around it. Prince announces that for subduing the enemy leader and gaining the Jurchen's cooperation in the area, he grants 1,000 Joel Sikyup to the Grand Prince. After hearing this, the prince seems amazed and thanks the king for the gift and all thanks to the body bestowed upon him. The king seems happy and says that he has done a great job. It is night and the prince and his brother are working out. Prince is pushing very high weights. His brother seems amazed and says that he is pushing himself too much to take it easy. He denies and says that since his younger brother has subdued the enemy king, they cannot pay attention to the king's body. His brother says that lifting 900 Jun in the Big Three is 200 Jun more than the military officers. Price says that if he lifts 1,000, how long he lifts 900. He says that it takes him almost 8 years. Prince says that he has a long way to go. His brother says that he is more than enough. Prince says that there is no comfort. He is going to train a bit more today. His brother says that he will assist him. His father seems happy by seeing this. He thinks that his both sons are grown up and he can hardly keep up. Prince is seeing a dream. In this, he sees himself in the war. He grabs his bow in his hand tightly. He is thinking about where he is. Suddenly, his foot places on the dead soldier. He seems frightened after seeing the dead bodies of many people. He wonders what this is. Suddenly, a dead soldier attacks him with a knife and says that feel his pain. He seems frightened and suddenly he gets up from the dream. The wife of the prince asks that he is all right. Both are frightened. This seems like a post-traumatic stress order. He murmurs that it is not a big problem. He just saw a person being torn apart alive and watched a head explode from the arrow he shot. Wife says that it seems the medicine doesn't work well. She says, how about building a new house? Prince seems confused and says that the frequent consumption of medicine can harm the body. He thinks that it appears to be a mental illness, so offering prayer may help. She asks if he coughs. There is an order from the king for him to return to the palace immediately. He asks his father if he calls for him. His father says that they plan to send such a letter of advice to the new emperor of Ming this winter. He gives his letter to his son. Both the brothers are reading the letter. He says that he wants to ask what he thinks about it. In the letter, the king writes that the king of Joseon has concerns about matters at the border. Due to the chaos caused by the Dags this time, both countries have suffered greatly. Accordingly, the influence of the Ming emperor. It is easily seen by the Tatar, Urian Kai, and the Jurchen. He requests him to firmly establish his position in the Liaodong area and drives out the Dags. If he stations 100,000 regular soldiers Liaoding at all times, they will not dare to invade Liaodong. Joseon pledges to eradicate the Dags to uphold the great achievements of Ming. After reading this, both brothers are looking toward each other. His son informs his father that on the surface, it seems like they are bowing to Ming, but there is a hidden meaning. In summary, the losses in Liaodong are due to a lack of population. The intent is to increase the military strength by relocating the population to Liaodong. He says that if 2 million people are forcibly relocated to Liaodong, it will be a loss for Ming. King says that the Liaodong is a barren land overrun by the Dags. The best they can do in Liaodong is raise millet and horses. Ming will have to continue to expend resources to feed them. He says if 1 million people migrate, they will have to provide at least 4 million siak of grain annually. 4 million siak is an enormous amount which is equal to the Joseon entire annual budget. Furthermore, stationing such a large force in Liaodong is like aiming a knife at the throat of the northern Yuan. The northern Yuan will constantly launch invasions. Prince says that Ming cannot gain anything from Liaodong. He seems confused and says that if they suffer such losses, they will try to shift the burden onto them. King asks about the burden. He replies that they will think that if Ming experts make an effort, their country must also do the same. King understands his opinion, and he said that there is something he needs to tell them in advance. He said that he is over 50, old and weary. He cannot longer govern the country. Next year on March 30th, he will pass the throne to the crown prince. Both brothers seemed astonished by hearing this. King says that he has another task to do. The task is to create new laws for the country. He has already named it. It is called the Grand Code for the National Administration. His son says to his father that he will be in good health for another 20 years. King says that he must do the most important thing. Prince says that he has fulfilled his filial duty. King appeals to them a favor. For the fallen soldiers, hold the Buddhist services in the temples of all 8 provinces, deep mountains and valleys for a year. King says that this is a very important matter. Your uncle, Grand Prince Hyeryong, is deeply pious, so it will be good if he accompanies him. It will help him and calm his restless mind. He is considering my shock from the battlefield. His both sons say that they are deeply grateful. There is an emperor of Ming. The king of the Ming says that the Joseon is demanding to pay for the fighting. Are they asking for help because they cannot handle becoming enemies with the northern Yuan? Another guy says that the King Yidu of Joseon must think that it is an inevitable proposal. King says that the sending of people to a station is 100,000 regular soldiers in Liaodong. They should send 2 million people that can incur significant losses. The cost of the relocation is an issue. They should have to extend the Great Wall to where the people are relocating in Liaodong. Their national treasury is already running low due to the war. He asks from all. Liaodong is the land where the Jurchens roam wildly. He says that Joseon can handle the Jurchen. Guy says that it is impossible. The Jurchen survives by plundering. The late King Yi Seongjai handled the Jurchen well. King says that their intention is to solidify Liaodong and shift all the responsibilities. He orders them to give King Yidu of Joseon all the land 80 rai east of Tailing. The guy seems amazed by hearing this. He says that by dealing with numerous northern tribes, including the Jurchen, they will eventually be exhausted. He seems calm and says that to prepare themselves to send a reply to Joseon, thus a new wind will begin to blow again. It is March 1st, 1450. The 4th king of the Joseon dynasty, Munjong, ascended to the throne. Everyone is celebrating. There is one person who is not happy. He is Hwang Hui, who is not allowed to resign despite the changes of kings. It is hard for him to stand. The Frontier Affairs Minister jokes with him and says that he should ask the retired king once again for permission. The next day, Hwang Hui requests retirement from the retired king Sejong, but he does not grant him permission to retire. Prince is doing a workout in the jungle. He is doing push-ups while an old man is sitting on his back. He says that he has a wicked heart by using this old man as a counterweight. He says that it is good to make your body strong. The old man says that if he keeps getting stronger, he will deflect blades with his blades. Prince says that it seems a bit excessive. The old man says that there is something similar. Some people train their abs by hitting their bellies with a rolling pin. Prince seems to have a cure for his mental illness. He spent enjoyable times visiting famous temples with Grand Prince Hyeryong. He donated new milestones to the temples and made dumbbells from the old milestones, which are quite decent. Prince murmurs that the dumbbells are light, so high repetitions are the answer. The old man says what he thinks about the Buddha statue. The prince murmurs that it is cracking. He seems infuriated by seeing the cracked statue. He orders them to call someone to make a new Buddha statue. Then they call someone to make a luxurious Buddha statue. Prince will be the model for the 4 heavenly king statues. He feels at ease by seeing the 4 heavenly king statues. After seeing the statue, he says that this is not just a 4 heavenly king statue, but it is transferred into a muscular, imposing 4 heavenly king statue. Time passes and the month of April comes. The old man comes to know by a letter that his older brother is sick. He thinks, how can a healthy man become like that? He damaged his 2 front teeth before. His health has deteriorated by being deeply saddened and drinking. He says that the teeth are the one from the 5 blessings, so it is understandable that he is deeply worried. He is also near to 60, and he fears about what happens if his teeth will go bad. Prince says that he can read faces very well. A gentleman's face and a dignified neck signifies good health. Prince says that his philtrum is straight, so he will have good fortune until the end of his life. However, there is a small problem with his ear. He asks about his ears. Prince seems like he will not live for very long. The old man seems infuriated and asks about what he is saying. Prince is laughing and says that it is impossible to reach the age of 108, but he will easily reach 88. The old man says what nonsense he is talking about with his big body. He says that if he undertakes and takes care of his body like the retired king, he will live as long as Dongfangshuo. Prince asks about taking care of his body. He seems angry and runs to beat the prince. Prince is laughing while running. He only teaches the simple exercises and body weight training to the Grand Prince Hyeryong. This should be enough considering that he is known for living to the age of 91. They reach Pyeongchang near Mount Odi. The old man says that his talk of face reading makes him curious to see his own fortune. Prince asks about someone who can do it. He replies that he knows a very skilled person, so let's go to Sangwonsa Temple instead of Waljeongsa Temple. Then they reach Sangwonsa Temple, and the old man meets him. He learns from Ha Heo and monk Jaekaho. The prince asks about it. He replies that his words are true. What he says about it is true. He should go to see him. His skills are currently unmatched. Prince murmurs that he is so excited to meet the Grand Prince Hyeryong for the first time. The Grand Prince knocks at the door and asks about the permission to come in. The Prince of Hyeryong replies that it is an honor to have such a special guest. He says that he is not supposed to come at this time. Prince says that it is better to come about 15 years later. But then he doesn't have the luxury to see fortunes. He thinks at that time he will already be suffering from leprosy or a severe skin disease. He thinks about the man. The prince says that he takes guests as a guest, which is a talent itself. He has seen his uncle's fortunes. He asks about his fortune. The Prince of Hyeryong says that he is not sure. He requests him to do as the fortune reading is connected to someone's life. He says that he will become king, and it also means that he will bring blood upon his nephew and friends. But having a guest may change everything. Prince asks about the guest. He asks if he is controlled by the ghost. He says that destiny cannot be easily changed. No matter how much a guest tries to guide the flow of fate to a different path, it will be difficult to avoid a bloodbath. Prince asks about the blood path. He replies that he can handle it. He replies that he will handle it. He says that he has changed many things with these hands. So when the things come, he will face and change them. He thinks there is no need to worry. The power of such a special person will surely create a new future from the previous. Prince thinks about the changes that have happened in his life. He seems happy after hearing this from the Prince of Hyeryong.